Ever feel like God is silent when you need Him the most? Like you're praying and getting nothing back? Let's talk about why God sometimes feels distant and what that actually means for your faith. Welcome back to our channel today. We're diving into one of the most important questions of all time. Why does God feel so distant when we need Him most? In just a few minutes, we will unravel this mystery. People go through these seasons, times when life is heavy, prayers seem unanswered, and God feels silent. It's confusing, frustrating, and often painful. But what if, in these moments of feeling abandoned, God is actually closer than we realize? What if this silence has a purpose? First, we need to remember that silence isn't absence. Just because we don't hear or feel God doesn't mean He's not there. Sometimes God's silence has more to do with what's happening within us than it does with God pulling away. In the Bible, countless people experienced this same feeling of separation. From Job, who lost everything and questioned why God would let him suffer, to King David, who cried out in the Psalms, "How long, Lord? Will you forget me forever?" So, why might God be silent? One reason could be that God is inviting us into deeper faith and trust. Just like any relationship, trust is built not only through conversation, but also through patience and persistence. Silence can be God's way of helping us grow spiritually, learning to rely on faith rather than feelings. Sometimes, silence is the space where we discover how deep our faith really is. And here's the hard truth. Sometimes, we're the ones who are distant. We expect God to show up in a flash, but if we're honest, maybe we haven't been seeking Him wholeheartedly. We may be holding on to distractions, habits, or even sins that create distance between us and God. Psalm 66:18 says, "If I had cherished sin in my heart, the Lord would not have listened." So, in these times of silence, maybe God is giving us space to look inward, to make our hearts open and ready. But how do we actually find God when He feels distant? First, it's important to stay rooted in God's promises. God says in Hebrews 13:5, "I will never leave you nor forsake you." Even when He feels far away, God is present. His promises aren't based on our feelings, they're based on His faithfulness. Second, keep praying, even when it feels pointless. In seasons of silence, prayer isn't just about asking. It's about aligning our hearts with God's will. Think of it like working on a relationship. Silence doesn't mean giving up.
Sometimes we have to sit with God in silence to deepen that bond of trust. Even if all you can say is, "Lord, I don't understand, but I trust you," those words matter. Sometimes God's silence can also be a preparation for something greater. In the Bible, we see that before God revealed Himself to Moses, He was silent while Moses was in the desert for 40 years. Before Jesus began His ministry, He spent 40 days in the wilderness, facing silence and temptation. These silent periods weren't punishment, they were preparation for the work God had for them. So when God is quiet in our lives, it may be that He's preparing us for something more, something that requires us to be still, to listen, and to be patient. So if you're in a season where God feels distant, know this: you are not alone. God's silence doesn't mean He's left you. It could mean He's inviting you to trust Him deeper, to reflect on your heart, or preparing you for something beyond what you can see right now. Keep the faith, keep praying, and hold on to His promises. God is still with you, even in the silence. If this video gave you hope or helped you understand God's silence a bit better, please like, share, and subscribe for more faith-based videos. Let's journey through these challenging questions together and strengthen our faith, no matter what season we're in.